I think you should ask the other Canadians how their healthcare is doing under this socialist regime because of Trudeau, and if you can actually do anything productive in your society, because we all know that America is the greatest country in the world.
By threatening Trudeau and saying, well, we'll make you the governor of the 51st state, we'll put tariffs on you left, right, and center, he's essentially saying, toe the line, I'm not going to play by your rule book anymore, and that's fantastic.
Saying better get your act together, Canada.
Absolutely, yeah.
We don't want them.
Sarah Stock for Rebel News. We are in Phoenix, Arizona at the biggest conservative convention of the year, Turning Point USA's America Fest. There's young conservatives from all over the country here today. And you may recall a few weeks ago, President-elect Donald Trump met with the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to discuss some plans for the future relations between the two countries. And Donald Trump made a joke, reportedly, telling Trudeau that if Canada doesn't get its act together, it'll become the 51st state and Trudeau will be the governor.
We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor.
Now, a lot of people saw this as a joke, but Trump has been saying more things about Canada on his Truth Social recently, saying most Canadians would like to be a part of the United States. Well, I'm not sure if all Canadians really agree with that. Some might be offended with the idea of Canada joining the United States and might see this as a bit of a threat to the national sovereignty. But maybe others would be happy to join America. Well, let's talk to some Americans today and find out what they think. Do they think Trump's being serious about this? Do they think it could actually happen? And would they like to see Canada join the United States?
It's about time.
Really?
People need to get into shape, and they need to quit screwing us over. And Frank, I don't even know if we want Canada, to be honest with you, but we'll take it if we have to. We just need a different governor than Justin Trudeau.
I mean, I don't know how the Canadians would feel about it, but I feel like we should probably focus on DC before we talk about Canada. I just think they would appreciate that.
I think that's absolutely hilarious, him trolling Trudeau like that.
I think it would be an honor for Canada. They should be really happy to be a state. So, yeah.
What if they're mad because they're like, you're violating our national sovereignty, you want to take over our country? What would you say to those Canadians?
I feel like they already don't have any national sovereignty, so what is there to violate?
We don't want them.
That's it. He put Trudeau in his place. And we're seeing already the Trump movement expanding outside of America, into Canada, into Great Britain. He's already having an effect over there as well. We need this. We need this energy, this enthusiasm to turn the tide away from woke, away from Islam, back towards Christianity, back towards Christendom, back towards the West. Now is the time to save the West. This is amazing.
What do you think? Is that a good idea?
You know, I think instead of making Canada the 51st state, I think we need to oust Prime Minister Trudeau, which I know that he may be on the way out. You know, honestly, why not? Why not? You know, let's just make America bigger and better. And we have Trump in office coming post-inauguration. Why not? I mean, do I actually think it's going to happen? No.
Well, as a dual citizen who's lived in both places, we would benefit from Canada, and Canada would benefit from us. Let's make it 51.
I've heard someone said we should just make it a colony instead of a state.
Yeah, let's Costa Rica that.
Costa Rica, Canada.
No, excuse me, Puerto Rico.
What do you think about this idea?
I actually kind of like it because I really like maple syrup, and if that includes the people from Quebec and Montreal, I love the accents and the French people, so hey, I'm all for it. And the moose, the elk, or whatever they're called, yeah, I'm all for it. Only if we can get rid of California.
So swapping out California for Canada.
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
I think it's funny. I just think it's funny. I think it's great that he's able to troll and get away with it.
What do you think?
I am all for making Canada America's 51st state. I think we send them so much money every year that, honestly, if we're going to keep sending them that amount of money, they might as well be a state.
You got 4 years to take your country back. If you don't, it's over.
What, is this about Trump making it the 51st state?
No, this is about Canada. No, Trump will never make Canada the 51st state. You're not that lucky. But you do have an opportunity to get your country back. And we will back you 110%.
I don't know. I mean, he's going to do what he's going to do. And I kind of trust his judgment, I guess, because he ran the country great before, so he's going to do it again.
I kind of like the number 50. It's very round. 51 states kind of sounds a little bit odd to me. But hey, yeah, if Canada becomes the 51st state, we're going to manifest our destiny a little bit more northwards. That would be absolutely hilarious. Because Canada's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadians are really nice. And if they wouldn't be a part of the U.S., then why not?
But I feel like the joke in itself was like, hey, get your act together. I think he got his message across for sure.
It was just like a thinly veiled threat, maybe.
Yeah. I think he's getting stuff done that way. Yeah.
He's hilarious.
The Canadian people aren't represented, and their medical's not as great. It's anticipated to be my. Yeah, I can get into that.
Yeah.
That one's heavy on me.
So even the Canadian side of you is like, yeah, it sounds like a plan.
Oh yeah, man. The Canadian side of me was by birth, and I was so blessed for it. So I went to Vancouver and served. But man, I was working with the homeless, so I got to see what was about to happen in our cities back then. And I don't think we need that. Like, let's flip the script. Let's do what we're doing here in the States.
What about Canadians? How do you think they'd feel about that? Some bigger country violating their national sovereignty. What would you say those Canadians are offended?
I would say that Canadians are tired of Justin Trudeau's tyranny and locking them down. I mean, I know plenty of pastors who got locked up and put in jail because of keeping their churches open. So I think they're tired of that nonsense. So if they were annexed into America, I think they'd be happy with it.
I think you should ask the other Canadians how their health care is doing under this socialist regime because of Trudeau, and if you can actually do anything productive in your society, because we all know that America is the greatest country in the world.
What about Canadians who are offended by this idea? They're like, you want to invade our country. What would you say to them?
Tough love, baby. If you're offended, go somewhere else. What are you going to do, cry about it? I don't know.
By threatening Trudeau and saying, well, we'll make you the governor of the 51st state, we'll put tariffs on you left, right, and center, he's essentially saying, toe the line, I'm not going to play by your rule book anymore, and that's fantastic.
Saying, better get your act together, Canada.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why don't you want that?
Because I get too many customers from Canada, and they don't like the United States. They don't respect it. So...
What about all the socialist policies? Would we take those or just leave them?
Completely dismantle them. Yeah, get it under the good old U.S. Constitution. Yeah, absolutely. Get the constitutional monarchy out of there. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm half Canadian, and I go to Canada all the time, and I will say, like, we would be liberating Canada by doing that. Like, they're tired of these, like, tyrannical policies, especially during COVID and everything else. They don't have free speech there anymore. Like, I think I'm all for this.
If you enjoyed this reporting and want to help fund our independent journalism and my coverage in the United States, please head over to rebelnewsusa.com.